Hi, this is Jose de la Rocha again with another update and information about this coronavirus. For all of those of you, friends, family, and associates who are listening to me and watching me, I know that it has been made difficult to find zinc. Since I last spoke with you, I told you the rationale of why zinc is important in order to combat viruses, okay? Now listen to me very carefully. Zinc works excellent. However, there is a little bit of a problem. When zinc is in our bloodstream, it needs to get inside the cell where the virus has attacked the host cell. In order for that to happen, the virus has to be inside the cell already, okay? Zinc does not attack the virus outside of the cell. Now, there is a problem. In order for zinc to get inside our cells, okay, or what is called the host cell, it needs something to push it inside the cell because of the pathophysiology and molecular biology of what the virus does. Okay? Now, here's the deal. Zinc cannot get to the virus until it's in the host cell, which is our cells, the human cell. So you need chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. However, I am opposed to using a medication for something like this, hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine, because there are side effects, and especially the elderly, heart problems, retinal problems, and the like. So I prefer a natural substance or supplement. And in this case, we had zinc and quercetin. Now, not many folks out there are talking about quercetin. Now, zinc is practically almost non-existent right now. Everybody's going after the zinc. You do not have to take hydroxychloroquine, because what the hydroxychloroquine does, it also does what quercetin does, which is to bring inside the cell the zinc. But there is a difference. The hydroxychloroquine works in a different area of the cell or the cell membrane, and it's not ionoport, okay? Now you have to remember, if you look at your table of elements in the periodic table, you'll find that zinc is a plus ion. So zinc will need a negative ion, and chloroquine is not a negative ion. Now chloroquine works well in regards to probably deactivating ACE2, which is angiotensin converter enzyme 2, and then it will allow probably zinc to come in. I'm guessing here. But what makes more sense in all of this is that you need zinc inside. Now, what happens if you don't have zinc in the stores, it's depleted? Well, you can eat it. If you look at, there are various books that tells you where can you find certain substances that are natural, something like zinc, vitamin D. For example, vitamin D, you can get it with the sun. You don't have to have a supplement. If you cannot find vitamin D, you just go and sit down outside. Well, the same thing with zinc. Zinc, you can get it from red meat. Now, for those people that are vegetarian, then we have a problem there, because there are very few vegetables that have zinc. But I want you to try to do the best you can by taking quercetin, even though you don't have the zinc. I have a friend of mine just called me up, and he said, I can't find zinc anywhere. I can only find the quercetin. And I told him, don't worry, take the quercetin, you still got zinc, because we all have zinc in our bloodstream. It's said that we may be depleted depending on our diet. So I do recommend that you look. As a matter of fact, next talk, when I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you about the different types of zinc that you can find in nature, like if you find it in foods and things like that. But in the meantime, let me go back to what I was telling you before. Now they're talking about Z-Pak, okay? Z-Pak is an antibiotic. It doesn't do jack nothing against the virus. Don't get sold onto Z-Pak. Now, I'm not saying that Z-Pak is bad. There is a function in Z-Pak, yes. And there is a function of another medication. It's called the Medrol dose pack or prednisone in some cases. Methylprednisolone, these are very good medication, but once you have symptoms is when you really need a Z-Pak. Now, the best way to treat the virus is prophylactically. That means anybody that's taking some type of supplement prophylactically is probably not going to be touched by the virus. So it's better to not get the virus anyway. Now, for those folks that already have advanced symptomatology, folks like, for example, they're in ICU, I do recommend that they go to the emergency room. I'm not really pro intubation and ventilatory support. I don't think you have to get that far if you just go after the very next fact, which is to reduce the inflammatory response. Now, the reason why you have a hyper-inflammatory response or a cascade of cytokine that is basically outpouring into the system is because the virus has been replicating so many parts, and the viral load, if you ever heard about the viral load, is too high. In order to keep the viral load low, you have to go again back to the beginning, what I say, take zinc and quercetin, and then get your immune system to work appropriately for you. But in order for your immune system to work appropriately for you, number one, you have to have an immune system that is not depleted. You also have an immune system that is not hyperactive. If your immune system is hyperactive, it's because of the very fact that you already got infected by the virus multiple times and, in various amount, higher than I can even tell you, unless you do a viral load. So for those folks that are already in the hospital waiting to be ventilated, those are the folks that I will hit them with a lot of anti-inflammatories, such as prednisone, prednisolone, and the like. So what I want to suggest for you is that if your doctor is liberal or conservative in some aspect, but is liberal enough to be able to put you on an antiviral immediately that you start having symptoms, because you have 3 days to get the antiviral to stop this cascade of the disease that is going to happen with the cytokines and everything else. It's about 3 days before you start getting symptoms, and then, well, let me just say, it's going to be about 5 days before you get the advanced symptoms, but 3 days before you have mild symptoms where the antivirals will work. So we start with an antivirals, and in this case could be oseltamivir, remdesivir, and there's another antiviral that is for HIV, and we'll go on to that later. But right now, an antiviral in the first 3 days of your symptoms should help you. Then you go into a anti-inflammatory, which is a methylprednisolone. In this case, I will give you a Medrol dose pack, a 7-day pack, because that's going to bring down the inflammatory response down a little bit, so you don't get overdrawn or overblown, and I put it to you this way, into your lungs. And then a Z-Pak. This is the way this should happen. So here's the deal. Prophylaxis, zinc, quercetin, and you continue with zinc and quercetin until you feel better. I mean, it's probably a lot better that you stay on zinc for the rest of your life, because I'll tell you, it works well for not only this virus, but common cold, the avian flu virus, the rotavirus, which is a gastrointestinal virus. I mean, for any type of virus, zinc is excellent. It is one of those most wonderful medication or supplement that you can ever find that God has given us. Just like omega-3 is like excellent to have omega-3. So I hope that I have shed some light to you on this. As I always told you, you can contact me on my email, which is delarrochacorp@yahoo.com. That will be DELAROCHACORP@yahoo.com, or my cell, which is 813-416-5673. Believe it or not, I have written a letter to the FDA, to Fox News, and the President of the United States. I never got nothing back. And even Dr. Oz, the great Dr. Oz, never responded back to me, didn't care. I don't know what it is that they're afraid of. But I've been promoting this zinc and quercetin, which is, quercetin is this, it will act the same way, it probably even more efficient than chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. So this is my point of view, ladies and gentlemen. You stick to my way and you'll see what I'm talking about. I tested negative just very recently. I haven't had any symptoms. I haven't had a flu or cold in many years. And this is because of my immune system, okay? God bless you all. Remember, I'm Jose de la Rocha, medical provider for 30 years. I'm in internal medicine, urgent care, family medicine. And I thank you very much for listening.